Hi, I'd like to take a minute to just review drawing an atom with you. Last week we talked about how to draw an atom, and we said that an electron cloud is the area where the electrons are located. Electrons are specific distances from the nucleus, so they always travel in a specific path or energy level, and that is what these rings are going around the nucleus. We also said that for our purposes right now, the K shell, which is the closest shell to the nucleus, can only hold 2 electrons. When the K shell is full, the remaining electrons go into the L shell, but the L shell can only hold up to 8 electrons. If that shell gets full, then we can add the M shell, which can also hold up to 8 electrons. And in your notes, you already should have drawn your chlorine atom, which has an atomic number of 17, an atomic mass of 35, 17 protons, 18 neutrons, and 17 electrons. So if you didn't add that information to your notes, you could do that now. Today, we are also going to review drawing the atom as well as talk about something called Lewis dot diagrams or electron dot diagrams. So I am going to go over this page with you right now, just to review how we're going to be making these diagrams. So let's make this a little bit larger. So for our sample diagram, we're going to remember that the first 20 elements on the periodic table, we're going to follow that 2, 8, 8, 18 rule. So the K shell can have 2, the L shell 8, M shell 8, and N shell can get up to 18. So what we've done is we said draw the atom fluorine. So we went to the periodic table and we found out that the atomic number is 9, which also means that the protons are 9 and the electrons are 9. Remember, 8. Since the atomic mass is 19, and the atomic mass is the protons and neutrons together, we can do 19 minus 9 and get 10 for our neutrons. Now, when we are setting up our atom, the protons and neutrons go into the nucleus. So I have 9 protons and I have 10 neutrons. Then I need to figure out my electrons. There are 9 of them. My K shell can hold 2. So I can draw my K shell with my 2 electrons. My L shell can hold 8. However, 8 plus 2 is 10, and we don't have 10. We only have 9. So I am going to have 7. So if you look at this, 7 plus 2 is 9. So 7 electrons go in my next shell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 electrons. Now, that is how we would draw our atom, by following the rules that we learned for drawing atoms. Today, we're going to talk about something a little bit different, which is called our Lewis dot structures. Lewis dot structures, or electron dot diagrams, are a simplified version of drawing the atom because we are only going to show the valence electrons. Now, remember, the word valence electrons means the outer shell electrons, not all of the electrons, just the valence shell electrons. So for fluorine, when I come back over to my diagram that I've just drawn and I look at how many are in the valence shell, I can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's all I'm going to draw. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that would be a Lewis dot diagram for fluorine. So again, I'm going to take a different color pen just to redo this for you. So when we draw the Lewis dot diagram, first we draw a symbol, and then we figure out how many valence electrons we have. So we draw our atom, we see how many are in the outer shell, and then for our Lewis dot, we just put the valence electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Notice how I go around once and pair them up the second time. So that would be my Lewis dot diagram. Okay, so that is how to draw an atom first, and then how to draw a Lewis dot diagram of that same atom. So what I will do is, let's see, I'm going to add no, I don't want any step. Okay. I'm going to close that up. I'm going to add a new slide, and on that new slide,
I'm just going to do a few samples with you. Okay, so let's just say that I was looking at the element hydrogen. Okay, and I go look at my periodic table, and the atomic number of hydrogen is 1, which means it has 1 proton. Right, so the atomic number, that's why I always write my information on the side. Atomic number is 1, and the mass number is 1, which means that my protons are 1, my electrons are 1, but my neutrons, 1 minus 1, are 0. Since I only have 1 electron, it goes into the K shell. But my Lewis dot diagram would be an H with my 1 electron. Now let's compare that to something like neon. Okay, if I go to my periodic table and I find neon, I look up the atomic number is 10. I look up that the mass number is 20. So for my protons, neutrons, and electrons, I remember 8, 10, 10, and 10. And this time, 20 minus 10 also equals 10. So I know that now in my nucleus, I have 10 protons, and I have 10 neutrons. My electrons, I have 10. My K shell will have the first 2, and my L shell will get the next 8. 8 plus 2 is 10. So when I draw this, I have my 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But for my dot diagram, I'm only doing the valence electrons. So when I do my electron dot diagram, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that would be the electron dot or the Lewis structure for neon. So that is how we draw both atoms and how we draw electron dot diagrams. Thanks for listening.